To get a schedule off the ground, you need to tell project about all the work that needs to be done to complete the project. Before we create tasks, though, there are just a couple of settings we need to change. We're going to start by heading down to the status bar at the bottom of the window. You'll see that it says, and this is out of the box, new tasks are manually scheduled. Well, we're going to click that and change it to auto scheduled because that way the program is going to calculate the task dates for us. And that is really what we want. So I'm going to click that to change that setting. Now we're going to go up to the File tab and then down at the bottom, click Options. In the Project Options dialog box, I want to head to the Schedule category. You'll see this section, Scheduling Options for this project. Down below that, there is a checkbox, New Tasks are Effort Driven. What this means is that the total work stays the same unless you specifically change it. We want to turn on that checkbox because most tasks are effort driven. For example, if you have a task and you say, it's going to take 40 hours of work to clean the house. Well, it's going to take 40 hours whether you have one person or two people. So we have that turned on. I'm going to go ahead and click OK to close the dialog box. And now we can create our tasks. I'm going to click the first blank task name cell. At this point, you can fill in the task names one after the other. Type the task name and press enter to go to the next line. So I type in the name of the first task, Review Lab Design, and press enter. That jumps down to the task name cell in the second row so I can type the next name. I type it in and press enter, and I can type the next one. Well, let's say at some point you make a mistake and you forget a task somewhere in the list. You can always insert a new task in the list. To do that, you can right-click the task in the list below where you want to insert the task. So I'm going to right-click Receive Equipment, and on the shortcut menu, click Insert Task. That selects the cell and it's filled in with new task. But since the cell is already selected, I can start typing immediately. So I type in Purchase MRI and press enter. Now that we've created a few of the tasks, let's look at what project adds to these tasks. First of all, the task mode shows a blue bar with a right arrow. That means that it's auto-scheduled. In addition, when you create a task, if you don't specify the duration, project fills in 1 day question mark. Now, this is an estimated duration. Whenever you see question marks in the duration, it means that you haven't added your planned durations yet. So it's just a reminder to get around to doing that. In addition, the start date for these tasks is set to the project's start date. That's how you create work tasks. The great thing with this approach is you can keep your hands on the keyboard. Type a name, press enter, and then rinse and repeat. Organizing project tasks makes it easy to hand off sections to team leads and track progress. You can organize your work tasks with summary tasks. Say you've created a bunch of work tasks and want to organize them. Well, the first thing you can do is select the tasks that you want to group underneath a summary task. I'm going to do that by dragging over the task ID cells for the 3 tasks here. That selects them. Next, on the Task tab, I head to the Insert section and click Summary. That creates a new row and the task name is New Summary Task. Because the task name cell is selected, I can type the name of the task, Inspection, and press enter. Notice that the 3 selected tasks are now indented 1 level lower than the summary task. You can also organize from the top down. That's like when you have a work breakdown structure. So you have the big summary tasks at the top and then break them down to lower levels. To do that, I'm going to click the first blank row and then click Summary Task up on the Task tab. When I click Summary Task with a blank row, Project actually creates a row for the new summary task and also creates a line for the new subtask. So now we can name both of these. I'm going to type in the name for the new summary task, Detailed Inspections, and press Enter. That drops me down to the new subtask, so I can type its name. I type in its name and press Enter, and now I'm in the next blank row. I have a couple more tasks to belong to this summary task, so let's go ahead and type those names. So I've typed in the names and then press Enter to go to the next row. You can add as many subtasks as you need. That's how you add summary tasks for existing work tasks and create a new summary task with new subtasks. There's a task list in the exercise files. For practice, add the remaining summary and work tasks to your project file. Milestones are great for showing progress, decisions, and other key points in a project. You can add milestones wherever you need them in your task list. So we're going to start with a milestone for the inspection summary task. To do that, I'm going to select the lab setup task, which is task 9. That's the one that's below where I want my milestone. Then up on the task tab, in the insert section, I'm going to click milestone. That adds a new row and names the task new milestone. The task name cell is selected, so I can go ahead and type the name of the milestone. I type in the name and press Enter, and now I have my milestone. Notice that the duration is set to 0 days. That means it doesn't increase the project duration, work, or the time from your resources. You can add as many as you need. Also, in the time scale, the taskbar is actually a black diamond, which indicates that you have a milestone. Now let's add a milestone for lab setup. To do that, I'm going to select task 16, which is certification, and then click the milestone button up on the task tab. That adds another new milestone task, and I'm going to call this one Lab Ready for Training. And I press Enter. Finally, I'm going to add one at the end of this project. I'm going to click the first blank task name cell and click Milestone up in the Task tab. This one is called Ready for Patients. I type in the name and press Enter. I have my 3 milestones. Now, the one thing you have to do is you also have to outdent these to the correct level. Lab Ready for Installation is actually the milestone for the end of the inspection summary task. So I would like that to be at the same level as the summary task. So let's outdent this first milestones. I'm going to select that task, and then on the task tab in the schedule section, I'm going to click this left pointing green arrow. I'm going to click it twice to get the milestone up at the same level as the summary task. I'm going to do the same thing with the other milestones. I want lab ready for training to be at the same level as the lab setup summary task. I select the task and then click that green left pointing arrow. And finally, I'll select the ready for patients milestone and outdent that one as well. That's how you create milestones to track progress, decisions, and other important points in your project. Tasks need to be performed in the right sequence for work to go well. Just like you'd better open the door before you try to walk through the doorway, task dependencies or task links are what define the task sequence. The first 3 work tasks run from the finish of one to the start of another. Those dependencies are called finish to start. To link those, I'm going to drag over the task IDs for those 3 tasks. And then on the Task tab, in the Schedule section, you click the Link Tasks icon. It looks like 2 links of chain. It creates finish to start dependencies, which is the most common type. You can see the link lines over on the right in the time scale. And also, you can see the task IDs of the predecessors in the predecessors cells. Let's add some more links. Well, first of all, we have to receive equipment before we can inspect it. So I'm going to select task 4, receive equipment. And then to select task 6, inspecting equipment, I'm going to hold the control key and click that row. Now that the two tasks are selected, I can go up to the task tab and click link tasks. I also have to connect task 3 to task 7. You have to purchase the MRI equipment before you can update the power for it. So I'm going to select task 3 and then control click task 7 and click link tasks. I also have to connect task 3 to task 8. So I control click task 8 and click link tasks. Finally, to wrap up this section of the project, I have to connect a few of these tasks to the milestone that shows that the inspection is done. So I'm going to click task 6 and control click task 9 and click link tasks. Do the same thing with tasks 7 and 9 and again with tasks 8 and 9. That's how you link tasks finish to start, the most common type of task dependency. The exercise files include a document with other dependencies needed in this project. For practice, add those to the file you're building. Part of building your project schedule is telling project how long you expect tasks to take. That is planned duration. When you create tasks, the initial duration value is 1 day question mark. The question mark shows that you haven't filled in your values yet. So let's start adding in some durations. Task 2, review design. Let's say that that's 1 day. So I'm going to type in 1D and press enter. The duration no longer has a question mark, so it says that I've added in my planned duration. In addition, when I press enter, it jumps to the next duration cell so I can add the duration there. In this case, task 3's duration is 5 days. So I'm going to type 5D and press enter. Over in the time scale, you can see that the taskbar now spans 5 workdays. In addition, you can see that the finish date for that task has changed accordingly. Now we're going to go to the duration for task 4, and that's going to be 1 day as well. So I type that in and press enter. Tasks 6 and 7 are both 1 day. So I can type in 1D in the duration cell for task 6, and I have a couple of ways that I could copy this to other cells. So for example, if these two duration cells are the same, I can select them both and then press Control D, and that will copy the value from the first cell into all the remaining selected cells. Now I'm going to jump to the duration for task 8, and that's going to be 2 days. Task 9 is a milestone, so its duration is set to 0 days. Notice, up in the summary task, the duration is 8 days without a question mark. When all the subtasks for a summary task have values, the question mark goes away on the summary task. By the way, if you don't have a solid planned duration for a task, you can fill in a duration and keep the question mark. So for example, I could select duration for task 11 and type 5D question mark to say, well, I think it's 5 days, but really not sure. When I press enter, now I have 5 days with that question mark. I'm going to go ahead and press Control Z to undo that last change. That's all you need to do to add in your planned task durations. The exercise files include a document with tasks and their durations. For practice, add durations to the tasks in your project file.